Hello guys, I have made video for you. This is the educational video as a part of anatomy and physiology. If you like my video, then please subscribe my channel and like the video. Thank you. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I Shraddha Gajjar and today I am going to teach you about the three topics in respiratory system. We will see the bronchus, bronchioles and the alveoli. So let's see. See the parts trachea. Then it divides in two parts, that is bronchi. Further parts of the bronchi, that is the bronchioles. So these are the parts. And this is the alveoli. Alveoli, it is the end part of the respiratory system. Now we'll see the bronchi and bronchioles. First we will see the introduction. Bronchi are the main passageway into the lungs. Okay, it is the main passageway into the lungs, or we can say it is the dividation of the trachea. When someone takes a breath through their nose or mouth, the air will travel into the larynx, then trachea, which carries the air to left and the right bronchus. Okay, so there is the two bronchi. Okay, two primary bronchi are there. When the trachea divides about at the level of T5. Okay, at the level of the T5 vertebra, there will be the dividation of the trachea in two parts, that are the two primary bronchi, or we can say left and right bronchus. Now we will see in detail the right bronchus and the left bronchus. You can see in figure there is difference between right bronchus and the left bronchus. Okay, first in right bronchus, it is wider. Okay, it is wider portion than the left bronchus. It is shorter and the more vertical than the left bronchus. Therefore, it is more likely to become obstructed by any foreign material or any inhaled foreign body. The length, that is 2.5 cm. After entering the right lung, it divides into three branches, one to each lobe. We will see in the lung, there is in right lung and left lung. Okay, in right lung there is three lobes, so there is three branches. In left lung there is two lobes, so there is two branches. Okay, each branch subdivides into the numerous smaller branches. Okay, that is the secondary bronchi and the bronchioles and the alveoli. Okay, then left bronchus, this is the narrower than the right. Okay, you can see in the figure, length is 5 cm. Okay, so left bronchus is longer than the right bronchus but narrower. After entering the lung, it divides into two branches, one to each lobe. Okay, so there is two lobes in the left lung, so it divides into two branches. So these are the difference between two bronchus, right bronchus and the left bronchus. Now we will see the structure of the bronchi. The bronchi are composed of the same tissue as the trachea, so there is similar structure like the trachea. They are lined with the ciliated columnar epithelium. As we know, it contains the mucus secreting cells, that is the goblet cells. Now we will see the division of the bronchi. First, lobular bronchioles. They further divide and into the terminal bronchioles. The terminal bronchioles further divide into the respiratory bronchioles. Then there is the alveolar duct and the end portion, that is the alveoli. Okay, so these are the division of the bronchi into the lungs. The wider passages are called the conducting airways because their main function is what? To bring air into the lungs, and their walls are also thick because they permit gas exchange. So there is the two portion, conducting portion and the respiratory portion. Okay, so conducting portion, that is the trachea, bronchus and the bronchioles. After the terminal bronchioles, there will be the respiratory bronchioles and the gas exchange will be there. So they are the respiratory portion. So these are the difference between conduction and the respiratory portion. Some structural changes are there in the bronchial passage, okay, in the cartilage, in smooth muscle and epithelial lining. First we will see what changes in cartilage. It contains the cartilage ring like trachea, but the airway divide and these ring become much smaller plates, and at the bronchiolar level there is no any cartilage, no any C-shaped ring present in the airway wall at all. Okay. So in the trachea there is cartilage rings, but at the end portion there is no any cartilage rings. Second, that is the smooth muscle. As the cartilage disappears from the airway walls, it replaced by the smooth muscle. Okay, there is only smooth muscles are there, no any cartilage. This allows the diameter of the airway to be increased and decreased through the action of the autonomic nervous system and regulating airflow within each lung. Okay, because of smooth muscle, the diameter of the airway will be increased or decreased by the help of the nervous system. Third one, that is the epithelial lining. The ciliated epithelium is gradually replaced with the non-ciliated epithelium and goblet cells disappear. Okay, up to the trachea there is the ciliated epithelium, so mucus can expel, but in this layer it is gradually replaced with the non-ciliated epithelium and there is no any goblet cells. So these are the changes occurring to the bronchial passage. Now we'll see the blood supply. Arterial blood supply given by the bronchial artery, venous drainage done by the bronchial veins, nerve supply, that is vagus nerve, and lymphatic drainage, that is by the thoracic duct. Now we'll see the functions. Control of air entry, warming and humidifying, support and patency, removal of particulate matter, and cough reflex. Okay, so these are the functions of the bronchi. First, control of air entry. The diameter of respiratory passage is altered by the contraction and relaxation of the smooth muscle in their walls. Thus, it regulates the speed and volume of the airflow into and within the lungs. Okay, because of the diameter of the respiratory passage, it altered by the contraction and the relaxation. So, the speed and the volume of airflow into and within the lungs are the regulated. These changes can controlled by the autonomic nerve supply, that is parasympathetic stimulation cause the constriction and sympathetic stimulation that cause the dilatation, that you know. Second function, that is the warming and humidifying. It is a common function. Next, that maintain the patency and the support. Okay, it give the support as well as the maintain the patency of airway. Then removal of particulate matter and the cough reflex. Now we will see the alveoli. You can see in the figure, this is the alveoli. It is in round shape. Okay, it is the end part of the respiratory system into the lungs. Let's see. About 150 million alveoli in the adult lung. Okay, 150 million alveoli are there. In this structure, that the process of the gas exchange occur. Okay, in the alveoli there is the gas exchange process are there. Okay, as airway progressively divide and become smaller and smaller, their walls gradually become thinner. These distal respiratory passages are supported by a loose network of the elastic connective tissue, and exchange of gases into the lungs takes place into the alveoli. Okay, there is the exchange of gas take place into the alveoli. On the microscopic examination, the extensive air spaces are clearly seen, and healthy lung tissue has a honeycomb appearance. You can see in the figure what is the honeycomb appearance. The alveoli looks like the honeycomb. You can see in the figure, in the alveoli there is the air space and there is the surfactant layer. Okay, lying between the squamous cells there are the septal cells and they secrete the surfactant. Now what is surfactant? It is a phospholipid fluid which prevent the alveoli from the drying out. Okay. In addition, the surfactant reduce surface tension and they prevent the alveolar walls collapsing during the expiration. The secretion of the surfactant into the distal air passage and the alveoli begin about the 35th week of the fetal life. At the 35th week of the fetal life, there will be secretion of the surfactant into the distal air passage. Its presence into the newborn babies facilitates the expansion of the lungs and establishment of the respiration. It may not be present in sufficient amount in the immature lungs of the premature babies and which cause the serious breathing problems. So in the premature baby there will be no sufficient amount of this surfactant and they cause the breathing problems. Now moving towards the next slide. Now we will see the functions of the alveoli. The major function, that is the external respiration. What is external respiration? This is the exchange of gases by the diffusion between the alveoli and the bloods. Okay. Second, there is defense against the microbes. Protective cells present within the lung tissue. They include the lymphocytes, plasma cells, and they produce the antibodies. So that is the defense against the microorganism. So these are the two major functions of the alveoli. This is the end of the topic. As we learn bronchus, bronchioles and the alveoli. Now if you have any question, any query, you can ask me and you can ask me in the comment box. Before that, don't forget to like and share my video and don't forget to subscribe my channels for more videos. Thank you guys.